Dread Delusion is an indie game made by a small team over at lovely Hell Place. The game is a fantasy RPG whose inspiration, I would guess, mainly came from Morrowind and Kingsfield, but I'm sure there was others. And well, I see the inspiration there. Dread Delusion is really its own thing, both in gameplay and world building. So it's an open world like Morrowind, with you mainly slowly moving about and using signs and maps to figure out how to get places. Fast travel only exists at certain points on the map with lore explanations of why and where it can happen, like in Morrowind. Meaning, you can't just fast travel anywhere, and there are no map markers to point you to where you need to go. And while I always prefer the other way, I know there are plenty of Morrowind fans who prefer it this way. And it isn't a bad way. Just because I don't prefer this way doesn't mean it's a bad way. It's still a good way. If anything, it gets you extra familiar with the land and the world geography. In many other ways, it works like a Morrowind light, which is to say Morrowind, but also missing a lot. What it does have is shops, alchemy, creation, blacksmithing, a night and day cycle, inns to sleep at, houses you can buy, lockpicking, sneaking, and sneak attacks. And a lot more than that. What it doesn't have is any cosmetics or a third-person way to see yourself. It's got a lack of magic spells. There are some, but not a ton. And there's not a gigantic amount of items to play around with. Or the ability to kill everyone, which is sad. But other than that, it's very Morrowindy in terms of how it plays. Combat is just basic hitting and connecting for health to go down, and it's very basic but very functional and totally fine. XP is called Delusions, and you can either find it out in the world or earn a little by doing quests. Only completing them gives you delusions. Fighting doesn't give you anything but the loot you pick up. The world has a lot of love put into it, and it's this bizarre, trippy world filled with moving islands and strange creatures. It's not your normal fantasy setting, and it's a very unique one with vivid colors, a PS1 type of graphical style, and so much imagination put into it. And there's this giant squid in the sky no one seems to talk about. Not many developers even try to do an Elder Scrolls style open world, but not only did these guys do one, they made their own thing, and for such a small team, I'm quite impressed of how much is there. The world has a lot of thought put into it. I saw this monster and I threw things at it and it went through it, and I just figured it was the game not registering it. But it turns out it wasn't registering it on purpose because the monster was an illusion created by a wizard. That's the kind of thought they put into this game. The story is the Union is going to free you from your crimes if you help them track down a pirate named Vela. There's so much more to it than that, but I'm going to spoil a lot, so if you want to know more, go ahead and stay. If you don't want things spoiled, I would go ahead and leave. The game is worth a buy. For those who did stay, welcome. So the main thing we gotta do is find Vela's former crew and get them to join us, and then we can go after her. I'm about to explain things, and if I get anything wrong, feel free to correct me. This is a relatively new game. Now, once there was gods, and these gods ruled over everything, and while they did do good for people, they also did a lot of bad. So a god war happened long ago to exterminate the gods. Now a few gods still remain, but not many, and they are far weaker than before. The older folks really don't like the gods, and they're glad that they're gone. A group called the Union, of which I'm part of, exists to keep the world safe from gods and other world-changing creatures. Some of the youth, though, see the famine of the world, the starvation and death of their people. It's a hard world to live in, and they wonder if bringing the gods back would be a necessary evil so that they could not starve. But on the flip side, they don't know how bad the gods are and how much the world wants to keep them gone, as there was a war for a reason. But like I said, the gods are still here, at least a few of them, hiding, helping, hurting, hindering. And the Union is there, killing those who try anything to try to bring a god back, even in these desperate times. We grabbed 2 crew members here, one who was Vela's trainer and one who is a powerful warrior knight, and one of the last of her extinct civilization. She was found in a lab, grown with no knowledge of her parents, or if she had them, and was raised like a sister to Vela. The Clockwork City is also struggling with famine. And while they do deal with similar issues, they also have a long winter which hurts the farming. They have a large missing persons problem and a drug problem. And on top of that, the city is quarantined off due to an outbreaking disease, and because the king is a giant, insane mechanical robot with magical powers who can make things appear and disappear out of thin air. It's even said he can take away memories. Lots of weird stuff going on here. Vanishing people, people who swear they are parents but they can't find their kids, people who know where their kids are but they won't wake up. This is a more mechanical place than others, with mechanical enemies as well as monstrous corrupted ones. It is here we meet Frost, who has settled down with his lover Sam. But Frost doesn't remember he is Frost on purpose because he doesn't want to go back to that adventurous life. He wants to stay settled down with his lover Sam. We help him remember though, and he isn't happy about it, but he agrees to join us on our quest. Sam also agrees to let him go, but he begs us to return him safely. And last off we have the Endless Realm. This is the realm of the eternal people called the Endless, who need to eat flesh to survive. Long ago, they did a series of awful things to become this way, including eating other humans and their own loved ones. But now they live in a world with so many graves, forever sitting in their guilt and unable to create more people. The flesh they eat is no longer from anything or anyone sentient, as they have special farms now. Although some people still want to eat living people because they say it tastes better. Point is, these guys live forever, and they have forever to regret their actions, and some have lived long enough that they no longer wish to be alive. Everywhere I go, it's all sadness and despair. No one is happy here. Goals, dreams, ambitions, those don't exist. It's nothing here. It's like its own purgatory. And it's here we meet our last member, and she's like a super powerful magic undead lady. With that done, I free a spirit who grows off people's desires, and the desires of this land seem to be the desire to die. So I let her destroy it, but before I do, I marvel at this squid. Why does no one talk about this squid? Honestly, I know there's a lot of problems going on right now, but there's also a giant squid in the sky, and that is my biggest worry. It could easily kill us all. What is it? Anyway, off I go. We end up going to a world under all the floating islands, where a civilization once existed, but it has been destroyed for many generations. It is here where we get cursed, which lowers our attributes by 1. Apparently, there was a mask I could have found here that would have kept me from having that happen. It would have fixed that and kept me uncursed, but I didn't find it because they made it sound like the curse was on a time limit and it would get worse the longer I was there. So I was just rushing through that place. However, I don't think there actually was a time limit now that I've finished, meaning even though the dialogue gave urgency, I could have taken my time and not been cursed the rest of the game. We find Vela and she awakens this large angel that she says will let her change the world into a new one, far better than this one. We address our concerns and the concerns of others, which basically equates to, last time this happened, the whole world almost died. She argues that that happened because the ones who awakened the angel did so for destructive purposes, and she's not doing that. She's awakening it to fix things. B, we ask if she knows if it works, and she does not, but she says it's better to try than nothing at all. And C, we ask if she's just doing this to resurrect her sister. Because see, her sister and her mother died in a fire, and she wants to bring them back to life. She thought the gods could, but after talking to some gods, it turns out that they couldn't, and so she's trying to get the power to be able to change the world, and maybe that includes bringing her sister back to life. So we asked, is this just for your sister? And she answers angrily, and then she awakens the angel and stabs us. They get away, and we are left to find her, to find a way to her and kill her and stop her. So they give us an airship, and that's actually pretty cool because now we can fly around the map, which makes getting places faster. It makes things just a lot faster. Wish I would have had this sooner. Also, that means we can fly to places we've never been before. We fly to a desert place because we need a device to get past Vela's ship's shield to fight her. But before I do, I decide, you know what? I'm gonna fly to that giant squid. I'm gonna fucking go to the squid. Go where no one else has gone or where anyone else has even talked about. I'm gonna see what's up. And to my surprise, I can land on his tongue. And I went inside of him and there's a whole nother world, a whole civilization inside this squid. How cool is that? That's amazing. I for sure didn't expect it to be anything but fucking decorations in the air. But no, this squid in itself is an explorable world. This is a love for creating a world I wasn't expecting from an indie game. But I was proven so wrong. At last we go to fight her. Frost is dying, which isn't good, because we told his husband we would bring him back alive. At last I fight Vela, and fight might be a strong word because I just ran around shooting arrows at her. I then have to make a decision. Kill the angel and keep the world the same, knowing it won't be destroyed, but it will earn the respect of followers and the Union. Or do I combine myself with the angel and totally change the world, knowing that there's no turning back, and if I fuck up, everything in the world ends? And despite me constantly saying that I was here to stop Vela, I've been lying this whole time. I knew if I told them I was going to help her create a new world, they would try to stop me. I knew since the Clockwork City I was going to do this. You may ask why? I mean, in Mass Effect, I had the option to join with the Reapers and become one. But I chose what I chose in Mass Effect because I believed we had a world worth saving. In Dread Delusion, we don't. Starvation is rampant. The gods are a bad option. No one is happy. I have never met anyone in this world living well. Even the royal folks I've met wallow in their castle in despair. Things are bad and nothing is getting better. Everyone hates life or wants to die. Sure, this might possibly end the world, but that could be a good thing. And sure, it could fix things, and that would be a good thing. This is a risk I will take. I may have beaten Vela, but I would have joined her had she not just fought me, so I combine with the angel. Another reason I chose this is because I know Gage is also going to play this, and I don't know what he's going to choose, so I'm hoping I chose a different ending so I could have seen more than one. Anyway, it sounds like most my decisions throughout the game actually helped everyone, except mainly the Endless Realm, live a better life. The Endless Realm still kinda got destroyed. But Frost, he returned to his husband, and a lot of the other followers had better lives. And I bestowed enough power upon everyday citizens that they no longer needed gods for things. Anyway, I really like this game. It's one of my favorite indie titles I've ever played, and it's only $20 on Steam. I got it on sale, but after playing it, I'd say it's for sure worth $20. I enjoyed it more than some AAA games I've played. Very impressed, and I hope more studios take a swing at the Elder Scrolls formula.